That sounds like it's good.
Okay, can you talk a bit more, please? You've seen me do a sound check.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing today? It's Saturday. Have we all had our 621 for the day? Oh.
What?
Oh, feedback.
That's scary. Is that better?
It's not your mic, it's mine.
It's yours? Okay. Oh, no.
You keep talking, don't worry about me.
All right. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Everyone good?
What's a 621?
6 hours of sleep, 2 meals, and 1 shower.
Check my teeth.
Because I just smelled someone out there who has not followed the 621 rule.
We were in what was it last night? Cards Against Humanity, and someone there did not follow that rule.
That's just rude.
I'm not naming names, but
Well, I don't know who it is.
I don't know who it was either, that's why I'm not naming names. Hang on one second.
Every third person.
Every third person.
I feel like I have to do like a kid's like spaghetti problem every time I come into one of these battle rooms that are gone.
What?
Alright, there we go.
What is a kid's spaghetti problem?
I don't know, I don't.
Is that like a British thing? Like,
No, like, you know when you go into the like doctor's offices and they've got the like beads you have to put along the...
Oh, yeah.
The spaghetti thing.
a kid's spaghetti problem.
Our next topic.
Kids
Yay.
spaghetti problem.
Kids spaghetti problem. Okay, so welcome to, ooh, they have like little, they gave us things. This is great, super professional.
Freaking love things.
Okay, so this is the, so you want to publish your book panel.
Woo!
Woo!
I don't like this, I've decided. I'm taking a stance.
It tried. There we
Alright,
go.
there we go.
So, would you like for me to introduce you?
Yeah, and then I'll introduce you.
Ugh.
I'll try and top you.
All right.
Not like top what you did, not like sexual topic. Anyway.
Yeah, this is not an 18 plus panel.
No, I'm also wearing my UK necklace, so this is not going to work well.
Okay, so this gentleman beside me is named Kieran Strange. I worked with him for a decade now in various media and entertainment industries.
Poor soul.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. He is a musician from England. He moved to Canada when he was 17 years old, all by himself, and abandoned his poor mother, who's come all the way from England
To hang out in
to hang with
Colorado.
us.
Just when he thought he got rid of me.
Yeah. He has done some incredible stuff. He's played shows to 5,000 people. He's toured on 3 continents. He's written songs for Pink, Shakira, Little Mix.
Oh, I did some K-pop recently.
Oh, you did some
That was
K-pop too.
really
That was fun.
Yeah,
That was.
We're waiting, there's somebody wants it, but we're waiting.
Yeah, and you got to rap and for a K-pop song. So that was pretty cool. And last year he wrote a book at my urging, and it's very good, and I love it, and I think it's great. And I told him, your first book is your worst book, so just get it out. Don't sweat it if it sucks.
If that's my worst book, I'm okay with this.
He also doesn't like peanut butter.
No. That's right.
I know, right?
You know what? My mum can verify this. It's an England thing. I remember I used to work in a supermarket, and we did like multi-packs of chocolate bars was one of the things we had, and we brought in Kit Kats with peanut butter, and all of us, like, all the managers had just stood around going, why? Why would anyone do that? I dare you to eat one. Like, you know, this is just so alien to us. But it's very good, actually. I like the M&M with the little bits of peanut in them. But a Reese's is too much. The peanut butter to chocolate ratio is off. Not good.
He's a little weird. That's okay. Yeah. I'm a little egg person. Okay.
It's because she hatched me.
And together we've been working.
When I came here, I was 17 years old. I moved to Canada on this sort of, I wanted to just go out and have an adventure, and I came to Canada and I loved it. And it wasn't like escaping my family or anything, because me and my mum were always really close, my dad, my brother, but when I came here, I didn't really know how to do laundry or my taxes. My mum had taken such good care of me. I could cook rice, and I could cook like a chicken fillet thing.
You did a roast.
Yeah, I could do well, but she had to teach me everything, like how to use a laundromat.
You were a great mother.
She taught me how to be a good person. I mean,
Clearly.
And together we've done a lot. We walked red carpets together. We've been to multiple.
you're taking stuff from what I'm gonna say.
Shiz. We've been arrested together, we've been chased by wild dogs together, we got lost in Tokyo in the middle of the night with no GPS together.
Oh, and that Japanese guy?
Yeah.
And every time he saw us, he was like, hey, fucking good time, man. I was like, you're shorter than me, dude.
That's not happening.
He was great. And we didn't feel threatened, they were just really
No, I could have sat on him, like it's not a worry for me. But anyways, so that's us.
I should get on to you. So, the lovely Kit Watson, or KT Strange, as she is known by her most recent alias for her most recent book, she was like, can I use your name? I was like, yeah, as long as you don't mind if people are confused and think I wrote it. Because I'm not going to say that I didn't. But no, so she's been writing under the name KT Strange recently, but before that, let's go all the way back. You were told in school that you were lazy because you were capable of getting straight A's and you weren't challenged and you lazed your way through school and you bummed it out. Then you left school and went into every single job possible. She's worked for the United Nations. She's helped stop a war in some South African country or American country. I don't know, it was like crazy. But she's worked as a diesel mechanic, like it's been insane. Watching her go from job to job is really inspiring.
I'm really tired. My resume is like this long.
And you're only in like early 30s, what the hell, dude? You're gonna have like the longest resume. No, it's just gonna be writer from now
It's
on.
just self-employed for the last 8 years.
But you've been self-employment, you've been doing so much. Kit has been, thank you so much. Chris is our handler, she's the best. Handlers don't get enough love because they do so much for us. Oh my god. So Kit started writing novels because she decided literally that she wanted to one day. She'd always loved writing fiction, she'd always loved writing books and being creative. And she'd been the industry side and the business side of my career for so long. And I think it was really starting to wear on you that we'd go to cons and people would be like, oh, you don't need to be creative, you're not the creative one. Because she was creative, but it was almost like, because I was being pushed as the creative one, she was kind of getting lost in like the shadow that was the project. So she branched out and did her own thing and started writing. And you loved writing from the get-go, and she pushed herself, and we're going to talk more about how she managed to get to a point where she was able to become prolific enough to have released, what, 40 novels, 50 novels?
I have 64 titles from the last 2 years.
There you go.
And I've been a full-time author making a decent, comfortable, like not like crazy money, I don't have a yacht,
Livable,
but like a livable income. And in my part of the world, I live in the second most expensive city in the world. So I have a decent income working full-time as an author. And it's totally possible. I don't have a college degree. Like I don't have a fancy degree, I barely graduated high school, my grammar is terrible, my editor will tell you that. So, you know, it's totally possible to succeed with very little resources and very little experience.
And you bounced between genres so much. Like Kit really like moved between genres. She wrote some male, she wrote some like regional romance. Regency, sorry, not regional. Regional romance. It's where you only date people from the same region as you.
It's like Pennsylvania Dutch romance.
Pennsylvania Dutch romance. Regional romance.
Stars on everything.
I know I want to write an Amish romance.
There is actually a big genre for that.
Seriously? I've heard Mormon romance. There's a huge Mormon romance scene. Is a little hot. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. I'll cool it down a bit. Sorry. I'm just a little too hot today, you guys. It's your fault. I blame you. I'm just taking all of your energy.
Have you figured out how to breathe in Colorado yet?
No.
I'm getting there slowly. I warned my guitarist. Last year, I told you, go easy on stage because you'll kill yourself. And you got, what, how many songs in? Two. And he looked, I saw the look he gave me on stage, I was like, he's figuring it out.
Well, I think the first year we came to, I call it COAF because Ginny's head of press and she hates me. COAF. The first year we took the train, we woke up in Denver, and I was like, I literally was like, I'm having a heart attack.
She goes, Kieran, my breathing's really rough. And I didn't notice my own breathing at the point because I was worried about her, and I was like, are you okay? Do you want to get some air? Like, should we go somewhere? Like, should we see if we can go somewhere they can open a window? And after about half an hour, she goes, I think it's Denver. Shit. So yeah, Kit literally has bounced from genre to genre, and she's finally settled. Her new book, she wrote a book called Phoenix Cry. Like mine, it's the first in a series, and it's reverse harem, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's one chick, many dick. So it's a fun. Apparently, it's a very explosive.
Well, I mean, it's a huge
genre.
anime genre too. Like, if you've ever watched like Yugi or Oran
Oran House Club.
like it's a huge genre, and I honestly, I love it. It's so fun. It's just the best.
I
So,
want to write one now. You've inspired me to write one that's like a D&D group.
so it's just like anime, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime actually because it puts the female in that lead role where she's the one who's desirable.
Well,
right?
I've always been kind of a romance writer, so it's like wish fulfillment, like female-centric kind of thing. But
And it's fun. It's fun, especially nowadays. Like Kit's really been finding, and you guys might find too as writers. Like it's really fun to create worlds that people can lose themselves in and just write fun, happy stuff that's happily ever after or happy for now. And when we're living in the world we're living in now, people need that escape, right? Like there's nothing wrong with picking up a book and just losing yourself for a few hours. So yeah, yo, are you now?
no,
Oh, you was? Yeah, right. Her new book. Oh my gosh, okay, so she comes downstairs and she's released her new book and she's like, I'm in the top 600 on Amazon. And I thought she meant in her genre. No, she's in the top 600 books on Amazon. And for the next 2 days we track it, and I think you peaked at like the top 300.
I was like 322 or something, which is pretty cool.
And a lot of the time, and one of the things we want to share with you is how I say we, but I did all the graphics, but she was the one who masterminded this branding and marketing campaign purely online, barely paying any money for ads. And so many other authors have come back to her, including myself, and been like, how did you do that without paying for ads? So we want to share with you how she has been able to take what she learned.
We'll
in the
talk
music
about that
industry,
today,
yeah,
so that-
and do some branding for you guys too, and some marketing sort of stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk about, because that's such a huge component, and often authors feel really bad about marketing themselves. They don't want to be salesy. They don't want to be like, my book. And that's totally legit. That's a real feeling, and it's okay to feel that way.
It's hard to sell yourself
It is.
in any kind of art. Like
So-
even as a cosplayer, it's hard to sell
Yeah,
yourself.
let's, who in the room has published a work, self-published or trad published, or even in a school publication?
Can it be online published?
Online published.
Like Wattpad?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, this one.
Fanfiction.net, AFF. Yeah.
I write fanfic, it's fun, like, you know what?
We
It's
met
like-
writing fanfic.
We met writing fanfic.
That's how we met.
Boom.
Years
Yeah.
ago. Years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
2006?
Yeah, I hang out in the Marvel universe now. It's a lot of fun. Well, when you're tired of writing your own stuff, you're like, I want to play with Tony and Steve. Do.
Everyone wants to play with Tony and Steve.
Fun time.
I'm actually just looking at Kyo here, and there's another
Yeah.
Sarah, like
Yeah.
you could say, like Fruits Basket.
Yeah, Fruits Basket, totally.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome. Is anyone trad published? Traditionally published through like a big 5 publisher? Yes?
Sort of.
Did you enjoy the experience?
Not really.
Did you make a lot of money?
Not really.
No,
They didn't
did-
even publish it.
Did they took a lot, yeah, they dragged
You
it.
have my face.
Ew!
Yeah.
Fella here was indie published.
Indie published?
Yeah.
Yeah, like in independent publisher? Yeah, was that a good experience for you? And yeah, I know. They can give you stuff, but also sometimes they're like, "Bleh," and they're kind of butts. Like, it happens. So I'm a big proponent of the self-publishing world because I write it, I send it to my editor, buddy here does my cover, I put it online, my people read it, I get paid in 60 days because Amazon is 60 days after the end of the month. And it's fast. I don't have to wait a year or two. And people, yeah, they look down on like, oh, I'm waiting for a traditional publisher to pick my stuff. I want an agent. I'm like, that's awesome. I like to eat. You know, like that's the thing is that for me, self-publishing works. And if trad publishing is what you want to do, by all means do it. But I want to make a full-time living as an author, and most trad published authors don't make a full-time living. So it just depends on what you want to get out of life, right? So
Another thing as well is that self-publishing can lead to trad publishing.
Yes.
If you build up your own fan base, it's the same as being a musician. If you're able to build up a fan base without the help of a label or a publisher, then when a publisher or a label comes calling, you have a little bit more wiggle room to kind of argue your contract and make sure you're getting a fair deal because you're bringing in your fans already. So self-publishing is a great way to get the attention of traditional publishers too.
So now that we've ranted a little bit about that, sorry, let's talk a little bit about writing your book. Who here has never finished like a larger project that they've started? I mean,
This is
now,
the first
now.
large project story I've ever finished.
And typically we run into things like writer's block, right? And it's like this big, scary, boo writer's block. For me, and your mileage may vary, and given that like I'm a prolific writer, I can write 10K in a day. Like but I build up to that. Like I started off being like 50 words, yay! You know, you have to start somewhere, right? You get to that point eventually. I found for me that writer's block happens when I don't know where my story is going, or I'm lacking confidence in my ability as an author to tell the story I want to tell. So I defeat those two things by going to my friend Gina, who's like my bouncing board for all my ideas. I'm like,
You need a bouncing board to knock
Yeah.
you back into shape. Be like, keep writing. You need a buddy. Accountability.
So I go to my friend Gina and I'm like, I want to write a story about 5 werewolves that are rock stars and they're dating this chick who's also a witch. You laugh, but I got to 322 on Amazon with it.
And you have a lot of hungry fans waiting
do.
for the second one too.
I don't know why. It's awesome. So, and then I use her when I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing next. I don't know what's happening. She's like, well, what about this? I'm like, awesome, thanks, Gina. Just bought you dinner. Bye. Right. So that helps me. So it's important to not look at writer's block as this big, like, monolithic creature monster that's like killing you and sucking all your energy. It's usually for a reason. There's a reason. Like, maybe you don't know what your character's gonna do. What's their motivation? They're like, why does this guy care about this ring on like some mountain somewhere? Who cares? He's living in like the mecca of happy like weed town in Hobbitland. Like, he doesn't care to go outside his fields, Frodo Baggins. Like, he's done. So you have to, you're like, okay, that's the reason why I'm not progressing in my writing. So I need to give him a motivation. Maybe I kill off his mother, you know?
And even just like not like if you're struggling with that and you're like, I don't know my motivation. What I do, because I have a couple of characters that are much more difficult to write than others. Elliot, one of the main guys, writes himself, and he freaking terrifies me because he always does different things to what I planned, and I just kind of let him go with it. He's probably the most lively muse in my head. But I find that like just don't think about your word count for the day. Go away, sit down, and think. Like, do whatever you need to do to relax, whether it's put on some relaxing music, smoke a baddie, whatever you do to relax, do it, chill, and think about your character. Just let your brain go down that road of what's he gonna do, what's gonna happen, and plan, and just let yourself soak in that world. And I swear to you, the inspiration that'll give you, you'll be ready to write the next day. You'll probably be ready to write the same day. Oh yeah, no, I'm down. I wanted to go back to the other reason you said that, which is the self-confidence thing, because that's the big one I have as an author, is I don't like my writing. I'm always convinced, and you have it, we're always convinced no one's gonna like our writing. So the biggest trick she taught me to deal with that is, and it sounds weird, but it's literally shut your mind off and just get the words down on page, because anything can be edited. As long as you get the story down, it's all good. So now I'm just focusing on, I'm just gonna write for 10 minutes and I'm gonna not stop. I'm just going to keep writing, and if it's crap, it's crap, and that really helped me get over that.
It's just important to make yourself write. Like, I have to write every day, or my rent doesn't get paid. I don't have another job. This is my sole income now, and if I slack off, that's $2,000 towards my rent that I have to find somewhere, selling stuff myself. I don't know, like, you know, like, it gets pretty dark pretty quick, you know? And it's important also, like, when it comes to self-confidence as authors, because there's no one standing in your bedroom being like, you're the best, yay, go, go, go. It's okay to suck. It is okay to be bad at writing and to not be good. You get better by writing. Like,
we just had this conversation with me in the car, because I was
Yeah.
crying, I wish I'd waited to release this, it's not as good as it could have been.
and I mean, for me, my journey as a writer, I started off writing like superhero romance, which nobody wants to buy for some bizarre reason. It's
Hey, that's
amazing.
what I'm writing.
I know. Like, why don't they buy it? Jerks. And then I moved into historical Regency romance, and it wasn't super like my favorite thing ever, but I was like, okay, I'll write about counterpanes and kisses on the hand, it's fine. And I got really good at producing stuff that I wasn't super in love with, and like writing as a job, and writing as sitting down and writing out 10,000 words a day, writing a novel in a week, and I made myself like the super grind writer. Yeah, what is buzzing? Sorry
It might
guys.
just be a little hard, sorry. Try that.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Oh,
you just
thank
have to
God.
make sure you're eating it a little more.
Okay. Nom nom nom. Delicious.
Call that eating the mic when you get ready.
And so I did that for a year, and I made a good living. It was whatever, it was what it was. And now here I am, and I wrote the story I really wanted to write. I waited until I was really, really comfortable as a writer.
You waited for like 2 years.
2 years to write the story that I had had in my head all this time. And it's okay to do that. Like, some people come to me, they're like, this is my passion project. I'm like, wait.
Great, don't publish it.
No, not yet. Because your first book literally is the worst schlock you will put out. It is. You're making, like, I met this woman, she was like the head of like the Writers Guild in Vancouver, Canada. She's like, and she was super pretentious, and she said to me, she's like, your first million words are worthless. Don't publish anything until after that. And I was like, you're kind of rude, and I don't like you.
Can you imagine if as musicians they told us the first 100 songs you write are worthless, don't show anyone?
But after a point, I kind of got like the seed of what she was saying, or like trying to say, like without the rudeness, is that you get so much better and you find your voice as an author after you've written, you know, a couple 100,000 words, 500,000 words, 1 million words. And now I understand what she means, but those words aren't worthless. Like that's still you as an author, and there's something beautiful in that. So like, don't be like, oh, my stuff sucks. It's okay. Like it's not gonna be perfect.
No.
You'll get so much better at describing things in like fewer words and not using the word that all the time, or and then. I do that.
Or describing their hair color every single time.
Yeah, you do that.
All the time. No, seriously, like this was the first thing I ever published, and I'm looking back at it, and I've had many mental breakdowns being like, oh my god, I wish I'd waited, there's so much I want to change. But like, I'm excited for my readers to see me grow. You know, like J.K. Rowling grew so much throughout the series of the Harry Potter books. Like,
And I think it's
so many authors do, right?
your case is different because you were already an artist, and so you had a fan base that wanted to read your book.
That's true. I was very lucky there.
If there's someone out there, I'm gonna presume you're all famous YouTube stars, but like if someone is out there not a famous YouTube star, and you have the benefit of just picking a pen name that you're like, this is okay, I can deal with this, and just write anonymously for a little while. That's totally okay.
You don't even
Like
have
that's
to
what I've
tell
done. I have like 10 pen names. I'm like, I'm done with this. This really sucked.
You have some pen names you've only written one book of.
Yeah, I was
Because
like,
you'll give me
bye.
the novel and I'll be like, alright, which name am I putting on this one?
It taught me something. And writing is one of the only careers you can have where you get paid to learn, which is awesome.
And what's great about the self-publishing is you do get paid. You're not going through a publishing agency who are going to hold it back and skive money off the top for for marketing and stuff, because
Yeah.
we're going to teach you to do the marketing. So we want to, but yeah, if you can write and you can just get books out there anonymously, if people are buying them, I mean, you don't even need to ever admit that they were yours.
So, we forgot to go over like our panel rules. One, if you leave, we're not gonna like tall shame you. Like if you have to go because there's like a cosplay photo shoot, just go. We will not shame you for that. And two, ask questions. If you have a question, just put your hand up, and we're happy to answer them. Yes.
I thought we were doing questions, but we were going to specifically do questions. Yeah, no, I thought you meant like we'll let people have time to ask, because otherwise we get interrupted and we go off track.
I'm okay. I'm keeping it.
Okay, whatever you're comfortable with.
You had a question in the back?
Yeah, so you had mentioned that you're a big fan of self-publishing as opposed to traditional publishing because of the logistics of it.
Yeah.
Can you go, maybe you're getting to it, but can you go into why that is? Because you mentioned J.K. Rowling, it's obviously that worked out for her. So.
Yes, but I mean, she's a 1 in a million. You know, like those, and to me, I'm not willing to bet buying a house in the future on a lottery ticket. And like that's a fair, like I don't like crap on that idea because that's totally fair and stuff like that. But traditional publishers, you go through editing round after editing round after editing round, and like their books tend to be more polished. Absolutely, their books tend to do well sometimes. Like if they do well, they do amazingly well. But I mean, like I said, I have to eat, right? And like with self-publishing, I get paid right away. Like I put out my book, 60 days later, I have that money in hand. My new book did really freaking well. That's gonna pay my rent for 3 or 4 months. So I don't wanna wait a year on a publisher to get 5% of my earnings. I get 70% when I self-publish. It's just a huge difference.
The world is really changing too, and it's exactly the same in the music industry as it is in the book industry and the writing industry. People are self-publishing and self-promoting now because big companies, like we're realizing big companies just take you for a ride. Like 9 times out of 10, they're just going to take you for a ride. There's like that 1 in a million chance that you're actually going to have an amazing book, but it's so small. It's like I'd rather cover my bases and self-promote and own everything that's mine and be able to control my own career. Because the last thing I want is someone turning around and going, yeah, these 2 characters aren't working out together. We've decided we want to put him with another guy. That's what you have to do, you know. And then all my fans get angry because I don't have creative control anymore. That's the other thing, is you lose your creative control a lot of the time, and I want to keep that intact. Same with my music. So as much as like if a traditional publisher offered me a great deal, I'd totally go with it. But I'd rather cover my bases like Kit and earn some cash and sort of keep control of everything right now and be able to kind of do what I want with it.
The main thing I want you guys to take away from this is that there's no one true way to do this, and there's no one correct way. This is how we've done it.
Yeah,
And
totally.
if you want to go the trad pub route, then do it. Do what feels right to you. Only you can decide what is right for you in the end. But for me, this is the route I wanted to go. And I don't know if I have any LGBTQ plus people in the crowd here, but yeah. Hey, what's up, my buddies, my community? Love you.
What's up, my peeps?
But it's it's hard for us to find places that will publish our stories as members of the rainbow community.
I love that, the rainbow community.
Well, I mean, it's just so much simpler.
Oh, I love that, I'm gonna use that.
And even still, I'll get to you in a sec. I have him and then you, and then even still, those like recently, I don't know if anyone is up and up on the publishing community. There was a very large male company that does they publish gay male romances, and it came out that one of their editors has been sexually harassing all the authors, and won't put people of color on the covers of the books because they don't sell. Even those people who should be championing us aren't. So it's easier to champion yourself.
That's
so
a good point.
you had a question at the back?
Yeah, I was just wondering, with the differences between self-publishing and going to a publishing house, what are some of the hurdles and challenges that you have found with the PR part of that? As far as self-promoting and...
Yeah, so I mean, people don't, big newspapers won't probably cover your book or write a review, but that's probably not where your demographic is anyway. Who reads a newspaper in here?
Yeah. Blogs, that's what we want.
Yeah, 2 people. Sorry guys, you're not
You know what, I'll read them if it's there, and I'll do the crossword.
my demographic isn't reading newspapers, so I really don't care if I don't get coverage there,
You want to be on blogs,
I wanna be on
YouTube, Facebook, Tumblr,
Yeah. We have a Facebook group and sharing shirtless pictures of dudes, it's what we
So
do.
this is why I wanted to do questions at the end, because we were going to get into promotion.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you want to ask lovely blue hair the
Yeah,
question, and then we'll talk
adorable.
maybe about the publishing side of it?
Yeah, sounds good.
So how do you actually get a book printed?
That's what I wanted to cover.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll go over that. So that's the process of actually publishing your book from idea to this.
So let's talk publishing, and then let's talk the PR side of it.
Yeah, sounds good. So do you want to start off on that?
Publishing is honestly your forte.
Okay, I'll
Well,
start off.
the first part is the cover. So Kit has always said, so I'll say it for you, if you're going to spend money on anything in your book, spend money on the cover. I know it's upside down, I'm doing it deliberately. I'm okay with it. I can read on the back. I'm covering their beautiful faces though, there we go. Spend money on the cover, because people say don't judge a book by its cover, but everybody does. So if you're gonna spend money, spend that 30, 50 bucks on a cover, and that will help sell your book, because if your book looks amateurish, people may not buy it. And the graphic side of it is such a different game. She's starting to get wanting stuff that I'm you're gonna have to ship this out to someone else, because I can't do that well enough for you, so.
So we have a saying that your cover sells your first book, and your first book sells your second book. So that's sort of you've seen this and you read my blurb and you're honey, werewolf rock stars, or in your case, yay, gay.
How long is this guy gonna actually put up with this guy for?
Yeah, yay, stuff. You're that sounds awesome. I already have your money. If it sucks, oh well. But if you love this, then you'll buy book 2. So that's sort of the rule. And at the low end, covers from a cover designer at $30 to $50. Do not get one off of Fiverr, because typically, if you get one off of Fiverr, everyone
Do you know
knows
what Fiverr is?
Fiverr,
It's
pay
a
$5
little
for
hack to
stuff.
pay $5 for something.
And some little dude in Malaysia makes you up a book cover. He probably didn't get the rights to the images he's using, and you'll get
Yeah.
slammed so hard by Amazon, you will never see your money and it will suck. So don't do that.
So definitely make sure if you have images, you know where they're coming
Yeah.
from. We use Shutterstock because we
Yeah,
find
for
they're
stock
really good
photos.
for stock photos.
So you want to use a reputable designer who can back up where they got their stuff, because if someone gets their face slapped on a gay love story and they're a model that didn't sign off or release for that and they're super pissed and you get sued, that's not fun.
I'm really excited to see if this ever happens, if one of these guys
Please
ever
don't,
finds this
that's
book.
really scary as your manager. I don't want to think about that possibility.
It
So-
never happens, it's a movie or something.
The other thing is, if you have a friend who is a cosplayer who works with professional photographers, see if they'll dress up as your character.
Yeah.
And
that's always
get
good
a
option.
professional photo shoot done, and then you know you have the rights to the image if the photographer gives them to you.
So your covers, first thing, at the high end, you're looking between $500 to $1,000.
You don't have to think about that yet.
I wouldn't be spending that money until you're getting an ROI that makes sense, like a return on investment. Like, I know, for me, if I spend $500 on my next cover, it's gonna pay that back to me quite a few times over. Not a big deal, but my first books, Kieran did that. It was
We
free.
didn't know, so we knocked them out for cheap.
Yeah, it's okay to not have, like, to spend, like, the top level. You don't have to do that.
You also might have a friend who's a graphic designer who is capable of doing really good graphic design, and you can toss them like a
Ask your friends.
crate of beer or something and be like, make me a
We
cover.
have a lot of people under 21 here.
Question at the back.
So I know that a lot of publishers like republish with a different, a better cover on it later on,
Yeah.
or when they get film rights or what have you. Do you suggest that?
Like if you put out a book?
If you can't afford a good picture, you still want to get it out there.
Oh, and then do like a 1-year update maybe, like with an updated cover?
Yeah, like some really good books that, didn't have things, and you were talking about the LG,
Yeah.
the community, there's some that came out and they had really bad covers. Like the Ethical Slut,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was a bad cover. I agree.
And stuff like that, they had terrible covers.
Yeah.
And then they republished them with
Yeah.
good publishers, another shop.
Yeah.
Do you suggest things like that?
Absolutely. Always feel okay to tweak your baby because your baby's not really a baby, it's a hamburger.
Yes, we don't make babies here, we make hamburgers. That's what she told me. And that, because when you have a baby, it's like your baby, right? But when you make hamburgers, you make one, you're done. You make one, you're done. You
Your
make
friend
one, you're
eats
done.
it. You're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's
Awesome.
really good to think of books as hamburgers, not babies.
Don't eat babies.
Remember that.
You-
After the packet wouldn't come out of the shrub.
That kid? I don't wanna know.
Last night.
I missed that part of the conversation.
Violence Against Humanity.
Well, I have been published in a few papers, but it's not because I'm good at writing. It's because great editors. And normally, like right now, I go to college and get a professor to do it. But that's not always going to be an option. How do you get a cheap person to review? It changed my terrible writing. I know I can practice over time.
Of course. But
But-
right now you suck and you would like
Yeah.
someone to make you suck
Yeah.
less, right? So yeah, it's legit. So I actually found my editor through the fanfic community and like she's like an actual editor, like was an agent at like a top agency and stuff. I was like, what? You write Marvel fanfic too? She's like, yeah, we're buddies. So that was like a fluke. But you can find editors on most writing forums. You'll see, if you go, there's a really good Facebook group called 20 Books 50K. And there's always, like, you can ask, like, who did you use to edit your book? Typical rates, you'll pay like 0.003 cents a word or half a cent a word, that kind of thing. And you usually pay that up front.
And how many words are in a book?
Depends what you want to do.
And it depends heavily on the genre. This one was 110. So, but I'm going to be reworking it for this May for its 1-year anniversary, and I'm hoping to get it down by a little bit because there's way too much description in there.
It's honestly like, it depends also, we'll get a little bit into word like on the publishing end of it, but with book lengths, anything over 50,000 in self-publishing is considered a book. Under that,
Like a
we're
full-length
looking
novel.
like a novel, anything under that is a novella. So sort of until you hit like the 10K mark, and then it's like a short
How
story.
long was Phoenix Cry?
It was 85,000 words.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yes.
Let's talk about actually publishing on Vellum, like how to
Yes.
physically get your book
Okay.
out.
So typically, if you don't want to do a print copy because reasons, it's difficult sometimes to format it.
much formatting.
There's formatting. If you can use a program called Vellum. It's only for Mac, unfortunately, but you can use Mac and Cloud on a PC for that.
It's VELLUM.
Like vellum paper kind of thing. And it is expensive. It's a couple $100 to get, but it will pay for itself. Absolutely pay for itself. Save up your pennies. That's sort of like one of your big expenses because it allows you to format your book in any digital ebook format you need for publishing for all of the distributors. So
And doing that by hand is a nightmare.
it's a nightmare, and it makes it look really beautiful and awesome, and people will love the book. And it also does a print version too. So I don't talk about going into like InDesign or Microsoft Word because
Yeah, it makes it all pretty.
I don't know, sell some plasma.
And you can put images in it too, it's
Yeah.
so great.
It's honestly this. After I've published so many titles, like this is definitely worth it. And if you're like, I don't have $200, Kit, you can email me and I will format your book for you for free because you are a part of this panel.
Yay.
And only people at this panel know that.
Yeah. Red and white shirt and then at the back.
I was gonna ask how you actually, what's the process of publishing a
So
book?
signing up for Amazon.
Okay, so you need an Amazon account. It depends, okay. There's so many variables because there's different ways you can publish a book. I'm sorry, that's just the technical side of it.
Let's talk about the way we use it, because
Yeah.
it's a pretty
We'll
good
just talk about
service.
Amazon because they're like 85% of the market. Kind of everybody else doesn't really matter.
The other one that is good is Draft2 Digital.
They're an aggregator that will get you on Kobo, which is actually I found it is an anagram for book, and I did not know that. Felt really dumb.
Oh my god, it is.
They'll get you on Barnes & Noble. Beware if you ever want to put your book in the Kindle Unlimited program, which is where you get paid by the page read. Do not put your book on Kobo because they send it to all these little tiny ass European country sites, and it takes like 6 months to a year to pull them off. So that's just like a technical warning. Do you guys want us to be super technical? I don't want to.
I think we should be more, let's be
Okay.
technical, but let's also make it nice and simple. for
Okay,
them.
cool.
Like, we'll do it
So
live.
first off, you want to sign up for a Kindle digital, like the KDP, like Kindle digital platform account.
KDP.
If you're under 18, you will need to get an adult because there is some paperwork with that. You hook up your bank account, you give them their tax information. They will give you tax documents at the end of the year for you to file with our IRS.
Oh, I just got mine, it's so weird.
Yes.
Was that again?
KDP. Just look up KDP, Amazon, and Google. It'll take you right to there.
So you sign up for that account?
You sign up for that account, and then you will have a beautiful platform desktop publishing thing for you to upload your ebook files, which you have sent to me, and I've happily formatted them for you in a loving, kind, gentle manner.
Or you've invested in Vellum if you're able to.
Or you bought Vellum.
Because it's gonna, being able, you can adjust the bullet point,
It's
what it
easy.
looks like, you can adjust the time, it's beautiful.
It's just so much
It's
easier
nice.
if you have Vellum for yourself. And then you will upload your file, you will upload your cover, you will put your blurb in, your title, your author name, your keywords for whatever, for me I put rock star, young adult, romance, werewolf, shifters, steamy romance.
Reverse harem.
Reverse harem was my first keyword that I put in. Just all the keywords that I'm what would my readers put into Amazon search to
What
find
would
my
they
book?
search for?
Yeah, you put all that in, hit next. It will take you through the process. It's very simple. If you have trouble, you can email them.
It's also really cool. It's kind of like uploading a very fancy fanfic that you
Yes.
wrote yourself.
Yes, it is.
Because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You got to upload the cover and blurb. It's pretty
Yeah, so you have basically you just select file. It's like uploading anything to email. It's like sending attachments in email. It's pretty simple to do. And once you've got all that done, you choose how you want to publish it in terms of your royalties. So
Before that, if people didn't want to use Vellum and didn't want to email you, how would they do it? Would it be through publishing, like my desktop publishing, or what would be the best way to use?
you would have to do a .mobi file, which is what the Kindle program uses.
.mobi.
M-O-B-I. And you could, I'm pretty sure you can do it through Microsoft Word. I have never done it, and so I can't speak to it. But I do know my friends who do it that way hate themselves and hate their lives. So,
Give it a shot, and
yeah, you'd have to Google. I'm so sorry, I can't speak to that because I just don't use that program. So, so once you've done all that, you've got your files uploaded. It'll kind of do a spell check on your file and be there's 5 errors or whatever. And then you look at them, and you're no, that's just my character.
Or if you've created your own words in your
Yeah.
own world, you get 20,000 spelling errors, and you're it's fine.
It's fine, whatever. It allows you to kind of check the file and have a look at how it looks in a Kindle form.
Yeah, it gives you a visual. It's really pretty.
It's really cool.
So if there's an error, you can go, oh crap, and you go back and fix the file
Yeah.
and re-upload it. It's really nice.
Just know no matter what, no matter how many proofreaders you have, there will always be errors. It's just the way of life. And then it takes you on to pricing. So we're going to talk about pricing right now because it's super important for you as an author. If you're going to write anything down, I see you smarty pants with your notepad.
I love it.
So proud of you. Little hearts glowing. So on Amazon, they allow you to price at 99 cents to $9.99 without really digging you. If you go above 99 for a digital book, you only get 30% of your royalties. It's just not worth it. The payout
Above
is
$9.99?
above $9.99. It's just not worth it for you, in terms of money. And under $2.99, you get only 30%. So the sweet spot of getting 70% is the $2.99 to $9.99 range. $9.99 range, sorry. A lot of 9.
$2.99 to $9.99.
People sometimes will price their book at $1.99 for some bizarre reason. Do not do that. That is like a wasteland of like nobody buys it. Like the difference between $1.99 and $2.99 to your reader, they don't care. They'll buy. And you just get more money for you. So just pretend $1.99 as a price does not exist for anything you do.
And the hardest part about being an author is valuing your work.
Yes.
So look at other stuff in the same genre as you that's, not like the best stuff, but kind of see what everyone else is sort of pricing as well. Because I think we put mine up for $3.99 because it was longer.
But that was because you have a platform as an artist.
Yeah.
And people know who you are. So it's like
$2.99 for an ebook is a really good.
So for my first book under my new pen name, I did $2.99 because I wasn't going to take 30% royalties. I'm sorry, I'm not selling my book for 99 cents to make 30 cents a copy. That's ridiculous. Because at $2.99, I need one person to buy my book to make the same royalties. At 99 cents, I need 7 people. Let's just do the math there. And this is not a race to the bottom. We are not the music industry. We are not selling a $5,000 song for 99 cents. Screw that. Let us not like.
No, Dave.
So just don't do it. So it's the 99 cents is a really good place to be if you want to do a promo or like an ad push. A lot of newsletters that will promote your book, like you pay them like $20 or something and they put your book in the newsletter. They want it to be at 99 cents because that's what their readers want. But you do it for a couple days. Okay, don't rob yourself. This is your livelihood. If you want to be a full-time author, or even a part-time author, make money for holidays in Mexico or whatever, don't rob yourself of that money. So $2.99 is a good starter. People don't blink at that. They pay more than that.
It's very normal to see $2.99.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many people have paid like more than $2.99 for a coffee in the last 60 days?
I spent $2.10 for my coffee and
Right?
$2.70 every day.
Did you even think about it? You're like, oh, lattes, matcha.
You gotta, it's, the one thing I'm learning as an artist, and I wish I'd learned it before I was 28, is you have to respect yourself. You have to respect what you do, and you have to see what you do as worth something, because you put a lot of time and effort. Like when someone buys a book, and we talk about this with music, when someone buys a song or buys a book, they're not buying these 110 words or that 3 minutes of music. They're buying every hour, every minute you've spent grinding and learning and writing and trying and reading it. They're going to thesaurus.com and trying to figure out a different word for the word Q because you keep using it. Like, they're paying for all that time you've put in. So you really have to value yourself as a person. And like, it's okay to value yourself as a person. Like, we live in a society where we're ashamed if we think highly of ourselves. And you gotta really respect yourself and be aware you're worth something.
It's so bad that like I made a gross amount of money this month on my book. Like
I know,
disgusting.
oh my God.
Literally, I said to my mom, please take all of this from me because I will spend all of it on ice cream and handbags. Like, please don't let me do this.
We're going to an anime con. Take this money.
Take this money from me. And I feel guilty as an artist having made that much money. I feel like I don't deserve it. And that's bizarre. Like,
do you guys ever feel that when you get like a comment on a fanfic, or you get like somebody puts your work in a newsletter and you just feel like you just don't deserve it?
I don't deserve this. And I'm like, no, I work damn hard. I've been working hard for years. I deserve this. And then my voice is like, no, you don't, Kit, you suck. Like, it's terrible. So
and
value yourself.
even the times you weren't strong enough to push, you dealt with your anxiety, you dealt with your depression, like you made it through, you're still here. Like, that's worth something, so.
It is absolutely. So that's pricing.
So, long story short, KDP is where you want to sign up. Draft 2 Digital is good as well, but beware of mixing Draft 2 Digital with Kindle Unlimited. In case you don't know, Kindle works in 2 different ways. There's Kindle, which you buy the book. And then there's KU, Kindle Unlimited, which is the one where people pay like a monthly fee and they have an account.
It's like Netflix.
And they can read as many as they want, so you will get paid by the pages read.
And the price is variable each month. I think this month we were at 0.46 of a cent or something per page.
Per page. So if someone reads 110
Okay,
pages,
sec.
that's math. There you go.
Flower shirt.
I'm wondering what would be the price, range for paperback or?
Paperbacks, I usually don't sweat them too much because it depends on your genre. So if you write just pulp romance like I do as cheap as possible. I'm not looking to make more than $1 from my readers. I want them to be able to get a copy in their hands, enjoy it, and move on with life.
Pulp reading, pulp romance.
Yeah, but if you're writing a really niche project that is very few, like this one, or I wrote Phoenix.
Phoenix Crow, when you do it will probably.
What's fairly niche, but it's even so my jam stuff was really
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to write Jane Austen fanfic, which is actually a publishable thing. You can publish that and make money because
JAFF, Jaff.
yeah, it's out of copyright if you like Jane Austen and Pride and Prejudice.
Also, do you have any Sherlock Holmes fans? Okay, Sherlock Holmes is public domain, just letting you know.
The old stuff. There's like
Old
there's a
Sherlock.
couple new books.
So
that
you
are
can
not.
create your own Sherlock Holmes and your own Watson. You can totally
Doesn't
write that.
the estate though usually go over the materials and give, the...
No, because they don't own it.
After
It's
150 years?
172
100 years,
or
72
something.
years, something, it becomes public domain.
There are websites that will tell you which projects are out of copyright. You just with Watson, like Sherlock Holmes, and like you can't mention Watson's wife.
Yes,
because
because
she's from, like,
that's
a new book.
too new, yeah.
Yeah, it's from a new book that's still under
But
copyright.
the
in
characters
States.
of Sherlock,
Yeah.
Watson, Moriarty, I believe, are all...
If you want to write a reverse harem about Sherlock Holmes, Moriarty, and John Watson, and a few other dudes, go have fun.
I'm actually I'm inserting a Sherlock Holmes novella or novel into the middle of this to explain sort of what's happening in England at the same time.
I can't wait to read that.
And I have characters in my book, they're called anomalies, they have superpowers. And Sherlock is so intelligent, his or her belief and the thing they're fighting with is they don't want to know if they're an anomaly or not because it's messing them up because they're so intelligent, they're worried they're not human anymore.
Did that answer your question? Ish? No? What's your genre?
It's self-help.
Self-help? Okay, definitely, yeah, you could price higher because it's self-help. For
Self-help books I've seen them as high as 20, 30 bucks as
Yeah,
well. Like,
for print, for
look
sure.
at the other stuff in your genre, like what it's selling at, whether it's the same kind of content, same kind of length, and sort of price it around there. That's what I did with this one. I think it's at $14.99 because everyone in the genre is at 15 bucks. So I was like, cool, yes.
Yeah.
Price point.
Generally, you can use other people in the industry to sort of be a guide for what you should be pricing. I'm gonna go to purple shirt.
And
hoodie.
just to add in as well, Kindle, the KDP, they have a forum as well, I believe, for authors. So you can always go in there and troll through some of the stuff. A lot of people have asked questions, how do I do this, how do I do that?
K-boards is a big one.
K-boards, that's the one.
Yeah.
So go check that out because there's lots of information in there. That's where we started looking.
Just one caveat, most of the people on K-boards are not full-time authors and they tend to have pretty strong opinions that are wrong. So just like take everything with a grain of salt. You want to go after people who are full-time, who are doing this because not to be rude, but we're the ones who actually know we're in the trenches working and we don't want you to not succeed.
Well, it would be like
That's
somebody
where-
coming into the music industry, coming into the convention industry and trying to run a con and not knowing how to run a con. It's like you want to listen to the people who've been running
Yeah.
cons.
Purple hoodie, you had a question.
Oh, yes. Back when I used to read fanfiction, one of the things I really enjoyed about that was like the weekly updates a lot of authors did. And I've seen that a great deal many authors have actually been doing that with their original
Like
work.
serials, yeah. Serials were super popular in early versions of Kindle Unlimited because you got paid like $1.30 per download of your thing. But they've gone to the page model now. And I don't recommend serials because it's a lot harder to get someone to click like 10 times to download like 10 of your little books as opposed to one time to download one. So you want to just put all that into like one package. Like we're so bombarded by stuff, like I only want to talk to you once to get all of
You
your money.
also did something where you were posting some of your fanfiction on, well, not fanfiction, some of your original work on fanfiction.net a chapter at a time to kind
Yes.
of promote the story.
But that was specific to the Jap
The
niche,
Jap community.
because those readers, they're typically women older than 40. You know, like they love this, and this is all they read ever, and so they'll read the fanfic.
They want to read about Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy.
And then they go and buy the book. Like so, that's a niche specific thing that I found.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. There is a new company called Radish that will pay you money to do a serialized version of your book, and you update 1 to 3 times a week. They are in sort of beta phase right now, so.
But again, that could be fun to get on with if they're in beta.
Yeah, but you really have to like their readers are typically romance readers. So if that's not your bag, perhaps not for you. But that's the only one I know of. Blue dress and then blue shirt. Sorry.
Oh, it was the lovey behind blue dress. Blue hair.
Oh, but yeah, you're both wearing blue dresses.
Oh, she is wearing a blue dress. I can't see your blue dress. So no, you love with the blue in your hair. Second row. Sorry, I couldn't see you were wearing a blue dress.
So let's say that for instance, I'm working on a fantasy series right now.
Cool.
I still haven't published any of it, but like, let's say that you wanted to. The thing about my fantasy series is I'm doing it I'm doing 4 books from the perspective of 3 different characters.
Okay.
Like books from like, or do you break but in the book? Or is
Like
it book specific to
books
character?
specific to characters.
Ooh.
And I call them, like, I've decided to call them arcs, but let's say, like, I wanted to, for instance, get all of them sort of in, like, let's say that someone was browsing through my stuff, like through Kindle, and they find, for instance, book 3 of Tabitha's arc,
Yeah,
but, like, they can't find book 1. How would I get it to, like,
they link together.
yeah.
Okay, so when you're doing your first, like when you're in the Kindle dashboard, uploading all your stuff, there's a box for series. So it says, it's like series name, and then it's number 1 to, like it allows you to put which number in the series. And Kindle will actually, like the Amazon site will propagate a page for your series and have them all in order for you. So you
That
don't
is
even have
so
to worry
cool.
about it.
Because I've noticed that my one says Black Tie and then it says book 1 of the Sparrow Archives.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
will recognize that
And
they're part of a series.
As you put like your 2 up, there will be a series page that's just kind of like,
I think you click on the word, like I would click on the word Sparrow Archives and it would then take me to the page. where
it'll
I
show
go,
you,
yeah.
it'll display on the product page, like it'll be like series, and all the book type covers will be there for you. You don't even need to worry about it.
'Cause,
Amazon's
yeah,
got you covered.
what happens there is people will see, oh, book 3, that means there's a book 1, so they'll click on it, they'll
Yeah.
click through, because they'll know what to do and they'll find that. That's awesome. that
Yeah.
they do that.
In the back blue shirt, you had your hand up.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
That's okay.
Did you have 2 hands up?
Okay, so like, would it be easier just to like do one whole story and then move on to your next story, or like do a story and have it be like in a series and then go on to the next story?
I think it's a personal choice, but having been through this process so many times now, it is a lot, like writing a book is hard. Finishing a 60,000, 50,000, 85,000, 100,000, like 150,000 word book, it is a lot of effort. Like for instance, I know I can write 50K in 26 hours. I know exactly how long it takes me because I time myself. It's my business, right? But don't give yourself too much to do your first time out. Like this is your first time. Be easy on yourself. Take an idea that you're like, I can finish this in 1 book. I don't need to write a sequel. I don't need to end on a cliffhanger. Be nice to yourself. Write your book, get it done. Know that you can actually finish a book because most people can't. Most people you meet who are like, I want to be an author. They will never finish a book.
This is, like I said, this is the first one I finished and I've been writing since I was old enough to hold a pen.
Yeah, it's like climbing a mountain. I mean, how many of us have a fanfic out there that they never finished after like 30 chapters? Like, it's difficult, right? So be good to yourself. And it's so difficult to like go out there and do your thing as an artist and you don't get a lot of support. The society doesn't recognize that. So give yourself a task that you can complete and you can be like, I did it. It's done.
I get a boost from that, which is awesome.
Yes.
I think it's very personal. I find that if I break a project and work on another project, I lose my drive for the first project. So personally, I try to like finish a series before I start anything new.
We'll take the 2 questions and then we'll go on to some stuff for a sec. So black shirt and then white wig, white hair, something? Okay, cool, good.
So, a lot of people I've seen for like fan fiction and stuff like that, and then posting on Tumblr, creating like a fan base and then going to Patreon.
Yes.
Is that like a marketable kind of thing, something you think would make money?
We've seen lots of fan fiction authors take their fan fiction fan base to their author work.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. I'm not going to say you can't do it and be a success. I have not done it. I don't know many people who have done it to a degree that they can support themselves on that. And yeah, it would just depend on your genre. Like, I couldn't super speak to that. Like, I think you could give it a fighting chance. Like, give any project like that, like 3 to 6 months and see how it does. And if it's not gaining steam, you're like, hey, I know I'm growing 10% each month in terms of my income or my followers or whatever, then be like, maybe this isn't working for me. Like, I wouldn't do anything like that for like 3 years and be like, one day, like, don't do that. Like, life is short, you know?
Everything is so trial and error.
Yeah.
Like we just make mistakes and go for it.
I know you had a second question, and I'll get to you right after hers, and then we'll have to jump into some other stuff.
So my question is like, what do you think makes like a bad book cover?
Oh, poorly photoshopped images.
Yeah.
If you can tell where it was photoshopped at a first glance, that's painful to see.
The best way to tell a good book cover is give it to your friend amongst a bunch of other covers from the same genre, like the top 100 in your genre, and see if they can tell which one is the one that you've done.
Oh wow, that's really smart.
Because if, like, you want your readers to know that this book is about two dudes having good butt fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's other stuff, but that isn't a part of it.
you want them to know on site. Like, you know, we don't disguise a hamburger shop by putting like organic kale in the front of it. Like, we don't want them to think it's a salad
Do it
place.
to, that's a good one, do it to market. Look at what the
Yeah.
other books, because I did a book cover for this, and I went through all the books in my genre, and I saw mine, and it stuck out like a sore thumb, and I nearly vomited in my mouth. And I immediately went to Kit, and I went, I'm doing a new book! And I printed out all the best book covers from that genre, and I went through, I was like, I need color, I need two guys on the front, I need bright colors, pastels, and
It's a big
pinks,
thing.
and blues, and now it looks better.
Like, urban fantasy is typically a girl on the front with like some magic swirlies around her.
Dragon
The
or-
font is glowy and white. Like, there's typical standard ways of people doing a cover in their genre that makes you say, I know what that book is and I want it. So it's hard to say like this makes a bad cover. A bad cover is one that doesn't sell your book. So last year I wrote a short story.
Oh yeah, I love this story, the kitten story.
Okay, and I was writing in a niche where everyone likes pretty flowers on the covers, and you just have to have like some sunflowers on there, and you're good. Like,
It's
it's
like a nice building.
a nice building or whatever. So
We decided to take a risk, because that's what we do, we're risk takers.
you put on the cover of my book a kitten in a teacup.
And it was like a beautiful painting, it was very regional era, very Regency era, and it was gorgeous, and it was pastels, and I was like, you know what, let's just see if this works, because I really like this design, and we put it out, and it tanked. And I'm still apologizing.
It is my lowest earning title to date. And I even was like, this isn't selling. 3 days out, I was like, I should be making a couple $100 a day on this, and I'm making 10.
And I felt so bad.
You will know immediately that kittens and teacups apparently don't sell Regency erotica.
To be fair, it was about a picnic with tea, so I was
tea.
going down, and there was a pussy involved, so I was going down. That nobody else picked up on.
So we changed the cover to some flowers and left it at that.
It never picked up, so I'm still, every now and then I'll still turn to it and I'm so sorry for that.
It was a beautiful cover, just not for what we were doing. So like if that helps, like you'll know, and it's okay to change the cover on the book. Okay, blue shirt. I know you're like I question burning inside.
Okay, so like, since I read a lot of visual novels, I was thinking of trying to get into it, you know, a good way to attack that.
Like you want to go into visual novels?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that's an awesome idea, but it's going to cost you a lot of money and a lot of time. And that's my only, like, I want you to succeed and like do awesome at this. And that is a project being like, okay, I have this project I love, and in 5 years I'll have money to pay for someone to do all the visual stuff. Because it takes so long to draw. Like that is a huge time sink and huge investment. And writing is like the cheapest hobby ever,
Ooh.
right?
Do you do write, yes, wordies? Because the other thing you could do is if you want to start building a fan base for this comic, this graphic novel, because I would love to do a graphic novel for this one day, but I know I'm not in a position to do it right now, so I wrote a book instead, because I love to write. The other thing you could do is you could be working on your novel in the back, on your graphic novel in the background, and be writing, say, short stories that introduce the characters and get people interested in the world and really set the world. And then when you're ready to release the graphic novel, you've already got this fan base that you've been providing books to and feeding and introducing to the world. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so we're gonna switch on to marketing. Okay, so you have written your book, you've sent it to an editor or gotten a really smart friend to edit it for you.
Got your cover.
Yeah, you got your cover done, you've uploaded it onto Amazon. Amazon decided you weren't writing some terrible, nasty, dirty erotica.
Oh yeah, because they have like, there's things they
There's
don't allow.
filters, they don't allow stuff.
Incest.
Yeah, no, they're not okay with it, which I understand. Yeah. So, you know, you got it through the Amazon, you're ready to go, you have your pre-order up, or your draft is there, it's good, it's good, it's good. How do we market the book?
Because the worst thing about having a great book is when you have a great book and no one's reading it.
Yes, that's the worst thing, and it's heartbreaking. So, how you market is you go to where your people are. So if you're, shout out a genre for me.
Romance.
The audience.
Boat repair.
Boat
Romance.
Boat repair. All right, let's do this. You want to write an instructional manual boat repairs. Great. So you're going to be going to boat forums, and you're going to be going to, I don't know if there are Facebook groups where maybe people who enjoy boats are hanging out. You're going to want to go on those groups, and you're going to want to make friends and start commenting on people's posts, just so they start to recognize your name and who you are.
You're going to have a blog where you write lots of articles about boat repair, showing everyone how smart you are.
Yeah. Get into it, yeah. And then you go where your people are, so you go to those groups, you're not going to go to Tumblr for boat repair.
Black shirt.
So now I think I want to write a book about boat repair. Could you imagine a shirtless guy in a bed with covered in man glitter, sawdust, and he's working out in the sun?
One of my friends, she like photoshopped like this really hot dude with no shirt on, like baking, like whisking some stuff.
Oh my God.
And she called it like muffin top, like and like a joke. And then she's like, no, I'm gonna write this book. And she got into the top 100 on Amazon. I was like,
She's done a whole series. This is something she's done now, a whole baking series.
yeah, she's now doing like hot dudes baking. And I'm like,
A whole series. There's like ones where it's, you know, his cinnamon buns and like stuff like weird punny titles. Like,
yes.
I kind of have a little bit of a problem with marketing, only when I could finish a book. But pretty much, I write mid-grade children books.
Yes.
oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm writing.
The king has arrived.
Thank you.
And I write, books for I'm writing a book for fifth graders and fourth graders right now, and at least I didn't have a social media account when I was in fifth and fourth grade.
Their parents.
Yeah, their parents, and
Mommy blogs.
librarians. Mommy blogs. Mormon mothers blog like holy oops.
Mormon mothers are one of the most intense online communities because if they love something, they're gonna spread it everywhere.
They are
All their friends
homeschooling,
know
they're
about
like 11 children, so and they're all named after chocolate. Like, I don't know what it is with them. But, so, go to where the people buying the stuff. Who buys these kids' books, right? Librarians are gonna be your friends. So, when it comes to marketing, you want to be a presence and an authority in your genre. So, when I decided to write The Reverse Harem, I joined all the Facebook groups on that. I started, are you okay?
I'm fine. I was going to make a comment. Person in the red and white hoodie had a comment earlier, so we'll come back to them.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So you want to be a presence in those communities. You want to be an authority. You want to comment on other people's books in a polite manner. I have a rule. I never diss someone else's book. Not their cover, not their marketing, not who they are. I don't care.
Be a force for positivity.
Yeah, I don't care how much I hate them and they're on my writer forum and they're a total jerk. Don't care. I'm always positive about their books because I'm not interested in taking food off someone else's table. So you always be good to other people. Never talk shit about anyone else's book ever.
Be good
or
to
I will
the other
find
authors.
you.
We had an author.
No.
Kit has a writing group, and we had an author recently who basically Kit said, "Oh, you can't do that in this genre. It's not really it goes against the etiquette." And the author kind of turned around and went, "I don't care. I have money to make." And that's the kind of thing you don't want to be doing.
No.
You don't want to make other authors hate you. And to be that force of positivity for it's very much how we did it, how I met my fans with music. I went out and I was on Twitter and Facebook, and now I'm on Twitter and Instagram because that's where my peeps mostly are. I need to get on Tumblr. But it's just so important to be where you are and to be that positive force and take time every day, to take your social media account and just browse through other people's photos, browse through your feed, and just leave some positive comments, leave some likes, be that force for positivity because people will really appreciate that and they'll remember that you said something nice about them because I do.
So I know you guys have some questions, but I really want to get through this key marketing stuff first because this is exactly how I marketed my book, and I want you guys to succeed like I did. So I got on the Reverse Harem places. I was friendly to everybody. I was full of love, and I'm a really loving, happy person, so that was pretty easy for me. I commented on other people's stuff. I posted shirtless gifs of dudes looking hot, whatever. I did all that kind of stuff.
How's your day going? And he's going,
whoa. Well, it's fine. My boob window is working well. So I did all of that stuff. I started a group like a private group for my beta readers. I had made a contingency of them being a beta reader of my book to be in the group, which I then turned into my overall fan group. I had about 30 people sign up to be my betas. They all read through my book, they gave me feedback, they loved that process. And because I was so awesome with them and loved the crap out of them, they became like my little gospel spreaders, and they told
Leaders of the fan base.
They told everyone else how amazing my book was and how awesome I was and how I was not pretentious and I was a reader just like them and just a happy person just like them. And you could use this for like evil purposes, and please don't do that. Like, actually love your readers. I love the crap out of my readers. They are the awesomest people. I'm making friends I'll have for life.
It's really hard to go out there and be nice and make friends, but do it like it's very.
You have a common interest, right?
It's very hard to do it in a fake way. Like, people will know if you're being fake with them.
No,
Like,
no.
it has to feel very genuine.
So that's what I did. And then when my release was coming up, I had it on pre-order and they'd all bought it. So I was up in about the 11,000 ranks, just sort of in my pre-order part. I did takeovers with other authors. I networked and said, hey, do you mind if I do a takeover on your page? That's basically where I go on their Facebook group and I give away like $2 $5 Amazon gift cards. Everyone's like, Oprah, it's exciting. Like, you know, like stuff like that. And I post like shirtless dude pics. Like, it's my genre, okay? No judging. And I did that for 3 or 4 weeks. And then I sent out my advanced reader copies, and that's basically, they get an advanced copy of the book, and their job is to leave a review on release day.
So then you're getting reviews.
Then you're getting reviews, because you need those reviews, because that's what we call social proof, right? Like if you see like a hamburger stand that has no reviews on Yelp, you're not gonna go there, because you're like, I'm gonna get E. coli and die. Like, I'm gonna be pooping my guts out for days. Like, so you wanna know that hamburger stand is good. Same with books. People wanna know, is this a good book?
Why do we always go back to hamburgers?
Because I love food. I just love food so much. So my art reviewers went out. Pardon?
Yay, cohesive hamburger metaphor.
I love it.
So good. So my art reviews went out, and release day, I shot up to the top 1,000 on Amazon. And I'd spent at this point $200 on marketing my book.
Woo.
And all of that was through little $5 gift cards that I would be like, tell me your favorite dude from my book. Here's their pictures, and here's a little bit about them.
And you could win a $5 gift card to Amazon, yeah.
And, you know, I gave that to my reader group, and now every post I put in my reader group, I get like 100, 200 comments.
It's become like a GIF community, like everyone just
Yeah, they have like
GIFs.
GIF
It's
wars
great
all the
fun.
time. And that's like, it sounds simple and basic. It is simple and basic.
Go and be a nice person.
Go and be a nice person.
It's weird.
But you have to be outgoing. Like, you can't be like, I'm gonna sit in my Ivory Writer's Tower and never talk to anyone and sell lots of books. That doesn't happen. It does in J.K. Rowling's world, because she tried published and had
And that was a different world back then.
lightning in a bottle and hit that lottery. Don't bet your future on a lottery
Because
ticket.
we live in a very different world now, and it's all about the internet. and
Well, no one like
yourself.
quits their job. They're like, I'm gonna go buy a lottery ticket. I'm quitting my job today. Like, nobody does that, because we know that's just not gonna happen for us. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell.
It's literally all about just going out, being genuine. And I don't know if the younger people here may have heard the term because of recent politics, but it's grassroots. Like, it's grassroots community building. You go down, you meet people one-on-one, and you talk to them, and you come down off that pedestal that people seem to think artists live on, and you talk to people, and that's basically how you do it. You just be nice, and people will then spread the word.
So do I have any questions about marketing? Yes. I'll get. Yeah, absolutely.
No, whatever.
I'll take 2 questions. So blue in the front and
Did you get your question though? No, I'd like to
No?
go back
Okay,
to this person
sure.
because they never
You
got their
first.
question.
So with chapter-wise, do you think that like you want to finish, you want to have this story, you want to have everything gone in one book, but in order to do that, you need like 60 chapters. Do you think that would be enough, or should you like end it on a cliffhanger?
My
specifically?
book.
are you talking a series or like
Not like a series,
standalone?
like you just want it to be like one book, but it's like way too long.
Break it up.
Well, okay, your chapters should end on a note that makes the reader want to go to the next page. So it should end on like a question, basically. What next?
I have 22 chapters and an epilogue and a prologue.
Yeah, I typically have like 20 to 30 chapters in my books, and they're usually run from 2,000 words to 5,000 if I'm writing a really steamy sex scene. So, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen.
My chapters are a bit longer. Mine are 4,000 to 6,000 words, but that's because I have massive amounts of description. Plus, I'm writing in more of a sci-fi kind of genre, so I have to explain a lot of
so
stuff.
why don't you tell me a little bit about your book?
Oh, and then you tell me a little bit about your book.
No, I don't need, they've heard all about my book. I'll go now, so.
Oh, cool. Well, do you mind if we promote our books a little? Is that okay? Oh, cool. Awesome, thank you. And we'll do it quickly and then we can get to more questions at the end. So, my book basically is, it's about a Britain America because I couldn't write as an American because I couldn't look at the world of America as an American because I'm not. And as I wrote, it became very apparent that I was going to be writing a British character. So this guy basically works for a top secret international agency. 5 years ago, or nearly 5 years ago, there was a solar mega flare. So a lot of electronic and magnetic stuff coming off of the sun. I did so much research on mega flares, it was insane. And you know, it knocked power out around the world, and there was chaos, and there was widespread looting, people lost contact with each other and freaked out. There was kind of a 6-month period of chaos before it all calmed down. And then they realized that people were starting to develop these weird superpowers. So it's very X-Men-y in that kind of sort of
X-Men's my heart. You already
heroes, all that kind of thing. Like these people are developing powers, and so we're 4 years in now, and the government's sort of teetering, and people are very unsure and very unaware of what's going on. And you know, we're seeing. I drew a lot of political inspiration from these days. So there's a rally at one point that's mentioned where there's counter-protesters and people are protesting anomaly rights. Anomalies are what the people with superpowers have been dubbed. So there's a lot of like I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from stuff I've seen, like transphobia, homophobia, racism, phobia based on religion, and I'm channeling it into these anomaly characters. And basically my dude works for a company with the UN who track down these people, make sure they're okay, make sure they're not killing anyone, and make sure nobody's trying to kill them. If they don't have to reveal that they're watching them, they won't, they'll just go back into the shadows. But they're under the UN, so they're not under any specific country guidelines. More research. And my boy ends up being hooked up with this guy who's an infamous genius billionaire CEO for a multinational leading software company. And he randomly comes out, he just spreads all over his social media, I'm an anomaly, I don't care, I can see the future, whatever. And the world just goes into chaos because they're like, stocks are falling and people can't handle it. And his job is to tail after this who is impossible to babysit. I've based some things on some of the con attendees and voice actors I've seen about how they evade their handlers.
I think it's also based on you, too.
A little bit of me, too, yeah. I would say you are the Cabe to my Elliot. I would give you that. And Cabe's job is to keep an eye on Elliot, make sure he's safe, figure out if he is actually an anomaly or if he's just doing this as some kind of publicity stunt. And throughout the book, he delves deeper into this guy's life and realizes that he's not the way he is on the surface. And there's a little bit of fade to black butt stuff, and yeah, I left it on a cliffhanger. I want to continue it into a series, but it's basically going to be, the thing I wanted to write this book about was, I wanted to write something from the point of view of an ally. So from the point of view of someone who doesn't have these superpowers, who isn't an anomaly, so an LGBTQ ally, a BLM ally, somebody who's not directly involved in the fight, but somebody who feels they can't sit back and watch it any longer, like they have to step up and do something. So he's going from not really giving a damn about anomalies. I think I asked a question very early on in the book, what do you think of anomalies? And he says, I have no reason to hate them, I don't really care either way. We're going to go from that, so I'm going to build him up to a point where he's going to be broken down enough that he's going to be fighting for these people, for his friends, for the anomalies. And I just wanted to get that across because I feel like our allies don't get enough recognition. And it's weird to be an ally in some things and not in others, so I really wanted to get that ally point of view across. And it's what genre am I? I'm paranormal romance, male. There you
Yes,
go.
very good. Awesome.
Very good.
That's so
Sorry, that was a lot to get out, but I really enjoyed writing it. I did a lot of research for a lot of the more technical stuff. I've done so much world building. I've put the images in the back that I really
It's
like.
fun. He did like little spreadsheets and news articles.
I've got like a little thing with like Elliot's recent tweets from his account, or his gabs, not his tweets. Just general like artwork that I wanted to include in the back to really make that world seem real, and I've really built this thing and I can't wait to push people further.
I'm excited.
Do you want to read my book?
I've already read it.
I know. Tell me about your book. And we don't have a copy of your book because Amazon cancelled our order twice, but we have an image of the cover, so you can at least recognize. And the model is actually a friend of ours.
Yeah.
So yay. So tell us about your book. A little bit, just a little bit.
Honestly, it's just a reverse.
Okay, this is a reverse harem. She's also done a lot of world building for this. She's created this world that you created and I helped you with sort of like years and years and years ago. We created all these characters and she's finally bringing it to life. And so the first book is about Darcy Llewellyn.
Okay. We're gonna go over by 10 minutes because I'm sure there's more questions.
Yeah, I
But
wanna
yeah,
start.
the point of this book was that I really like werewolf shifters, and I worked in the music industry for a decade, so I wanted to put all of my experience and like babysitting drunk rock stars and like put that
Being on the road and like.
what it's like to pee in a cornfield with 5 other people and like not see anybody's junk, which is amazing and is a feat of scientific mystery. But like, so that's basically what this book is, then combined with like witch politics and genocide and things like that.
Yeah, in your world, I think the witches and the werewolves are fighting, and then witches tried to create.
Your spoilers.
Oh, so
Can't talk
good.
about it.
No spoilers, but oh man, the world she's building is like mine is more sci-fi, more urban fantasy. Hers is more like proper paranormal witches, werewolves, vampires, like super dope. I can't wait to see what.
There's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's maybe do some questions.
Yeah, let's do. I want to do more questions.
Because I know there's questions in the audience that we haven't gotten to. We're so sorry. I'm gonna go by like.
So we did you.
You've had a couple questions, so I'm gonna go to our king here.
Charlotte, you go.
Yeah. Yes.
I was looking all over this panel and it was driving me crazy.
Oh no. Well, you're here now.
It's video, so I'm probably gonna put it, or the con may put it online. So.
Yeah.
So I was because I really wanted to go to this because I'm an aspiring author.
Aw.
You know, like,
Welcome to the group.
I'm in the middle of writing like 4 different series, and one of them I've been working off and on with for 10 years, and for the most part, I'm actually pretty happy that I did that because I learned so much more during those 10 years about how to write stories.
I think we were talking about that before you came in. We were talking about how like you save your baby project, your passion project, until you've released a couple of things or written a couple of things because you really want to work it out. Like.
And also, you don't really know how to market or find an audience when you first start, and you don't want to like release your absolute darling child book to like crickets, because that just breaks your heart.
Yeah.
It's poops.
And I also realized that I can't just rely on put all my eggs in that one basket, so
No.
that's how the other 3 stories came in, yeah. I typically like to write sci-fi stories, which my magnum opus, I like to
Yeah,
call it, is
so-
a sci-fi story.
Did you have a question about marketing, or?
Yeah, it's mainly about marketing because one of the things that I'm starting to do is I'm starting to write more crazier stories. Like one of the second story I'm writing on is regarding 3 people in a potential polygamous relationship.
Right.
Another one about a superhero story that revolves around a shrink that specializes in problems regarding superheroes and supervillains.
Oh my god, that's
Fun.
amazing!
So, are you wondering kind of like how to get the word out about your books, or?
Yeah, because like the thing is like I'm kind of writing more mature type of subjects for
Right,
these
of
other
course.
stories, but they're not so mature to the point where it should, where I think it's like for an adults only audience.
It's kind of like young adult almost.
Oh, I'd say it's like a little
New
bit
adult?
like over.
New adult.
Like kind of like new adult, yeah.
Yeah,
kinda
like
like that.
20s, 30s.
Like
So,
20s, 30s.
Yeah, I would try and get like book newsletters that cater to like the sci-fi audience or the specific genres that you're in, and just submit to them and see if they'll pick up your book. And they should.
And blogs too.
Yeah, blogs too is a really, really good way to do that. Especially like because you're POC, there's a lot of people who want to promote POC voices in writing, and there's lots of places that will take you like and look at your work and promote it, and that's awesome. So, who else has a question? I'll take blonde in the back, and then we'll, buddy.
Blonde in the
Yes,
back.
you've got so much blonde hair.
Oh my gosh, she does! That is blonde, sorry.
Since you're such a prolific writer, when I try to write, I get in this cycle. I'll like give the inspiration. I'll write. I'll just burn myself out.
Yeah.
And then I can't even look at what I write. I finally go back to it, and I'm just like, this is awful. I need to restart it, and then I restart it. I just work on like this
edit.
first few chapters.
Edit.
This is my thing, is you have to tell that voice to shut up, because that voice doesn't pay your rent. Like, I have that voice too. It's like, everything you write sucks, kid. I'm like, get a job. Literally. Like, I literally like either pay money or shut up, because it has no place in your process. Of course you're gonna suck. Like the stuff I wrote 6 months ago sucks compared to where I am now. Like my editor is like, wow, you are so much better than you used to be. I don't even take offense to that, because that's just like where you are. Now remember when you learned how to walk, you're falling on your ass all the time? Like you just have to do that. And I know it's hard, but just tell that voice, STFU, put up or shut up. Unless you have a better idea, tiny gremlin on my shoulder, you have no place and no right to talk to me. And if you're really having that, find a buddy to read your stuff and be like, I don't want to hear about how the grammar sucked or the characterization sucked. I just need you to tell me good stuff only. because that's what's going to get you to that next level of learning how to push through that voice. All right, I said you, and then you.
One comment and one question.
Yeah.
I always love how the author being nice to each other thing, because more recently a famous author named Terry Griffin.
Oh God.
You saw that. He,
I got some opinions about that. Anyways,
he
yeah.
his cover artist.
Yeah, he was rude.
Everyone just like.
Well, yeah, he was a rude jerk.
People don't like to see people being rude to other people.
God.
It's funny in the moment, but when you think about it deep down inside, you're like, unless that person deserved a schooling, it's horrible.
He's also like kind of like a racist, sexist jerk and homophobic too. So like, I feel like he got what was coming to him. But anyways, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, what was your question?
My question is, I love harem anime and reverse harem.
Yeah.
Almost to the fault, I'm really forgiving of them. And I was just wondering, in that aspect of your book, how did you approach that to make it good?
How did you develop that relationship?
With other authors?
No, harem.
With the characters.
Oh, it was hard. It's hard. Like, muses are fighting over who gets to screw her first. Like, it's difficult. Like, this is tough. And some of them are like, not yet. Like, the second book that I'm writing right now is like the baby werewolf's time. He's like, I'm not, and he's a virgin. He's like, I'm not ready. Let's go on an ice cream date. I'm like, no, you have to have sex. My readers are expecting sex. This is happening.
She turned around to me and she goes, yep, this sex scene ain't happening. I'm like, you don't worry. And she's like, no, I'm writing someone else now. They're going on a date. He didn't want to have sex with her.
It progresses the way it progresses. Like, when I write a book, it's a lot like when I drive. You get your hands on the wheel, you stare at the point you want to go, and you just kind of put your foot on the gas and go. That's how I write. Not everyone can do that.
I plan. What I'll do is I'll plan out my first, say, 3-4 chapters, and and what I'll do is I'll put notes. In this chapter, I need to show another side of Elliot. I need to show Kate being strong. I put what I need to show for the relationship to develop, and then I'll really hardcore plan out my first few, 4 chapters, and from then on I'll have a generic, I know I want this to happen, and I know it's sort of going to end like this, but then halfway through it starts to develop and it starts to kind of pick up. We have very different writing styles.
We do.
It's whatever works for you.
I know my midpoint, and I know my big turning events, this is gonna happen, and somebody dies, and at the end of the book, I know where I want my characters to end up. With romance, specifically, and reverse harem is a part of this. The beginning of the book, they're in the exact opposite place where you want them to end up. So at the beginning of the book, they're lonely, they hate their life,
fighting,
their parents suck, they don't have a job. At the end of the book, they're making $1 million a year, and they're screwing everybody, and it's a good time. That's that cycle, So I hope that helps. It is difficult, and fight for it, right?
If you're a planner, plan. Go, I want them to start here, and then this guy comes in, and be fluid. Use cards and move them around. That's what I do.
We've got 7 minutes left before we're really over time, and you guys are so nice, thank you.
I have a short question. Is it possible in terms of marketing to gain exposure without an online presence?
No.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier, today is such an internet-based, the world is internet-based. I have a totally different genre, but I have a friend who's he's a professional wrestler and he's just getting started. And we have had to drag him through the mud to get a Twitter because he doesn't want one. We're trying to explain to him, look, you cannot be a professional wrestler. You cannot exist in any entertainment industry anywhere in the world these days.
Without having a presence.
Without an internet presence.
If you do it, I will buy you a pie.
If you do it, I will buy you 7 pies.
Feel free to prove me wrong.
What if you advertise in writing magazines?
Thing is, okay, if you're writing a book about how to write a book, writing magazines.
Perfect.
But where's your audience?
No, advertise your book in a writing magazine.
Yeah, but...
That's your audience.
But okay, this is my question though. That's really awesome, but my audience are women who are 30 and up, they have a couple kids, they're on Facebook. So I'm on Facebook. If your audience subscribes to writing magazines, go ahead. But also look at the circulation of those magazines. Are they reaching 10,000 people a year?
Right.
How many of those people are going to pick up your book? Your conversion rate will be 3% or less. That's typical. Any online sales will tell you, usually get 3% of people will buy the thing that's in front of them, or less than that. So just be nice to yourself and put yourself in a situation to succeed. But if you're writing really deep, thoughtful works of art, that the writing and reading community that is really into that, they're on writing magazines, absolutely. Hit that hard, for sure.
Poetry, proper, intense written,
Ignore me, because I'm doing something totally different to a totally different audience. I'm not gonna shit on that idea whatsoever. find them there. Or there might be really good writing websites where that caters to that sort of higher brow, like not pulp romance.
Like people who want to read,
You know what I mean?
quality writing.
It's a different audience. Okay, question, and I think we might have time for one more, and then we're done.
I've some stuff I've flown by beta readers
Yeah.
already, and I'm really concerned about quality. Would you recommend dropping money for at this point, or?
Honestly, like, if it's your baby project, do it. If it's just like, I'm learning how to write and publish books and make a living, don't worry about it. Just publish, you're gonna suck, it's fine. Learn each time. Don't stress, don't sweat it, you know what I mean? Does that help? Cool.
Boy, Roberto.
I gotta do this Twitter thing.
No,
Oh,
no. Pick like, if you're
You
gonna-
don't have to do
You don't.
social
If you're gonna do social media, pick 1 or 2 websites,
Good.
do them well, and that's it. And don't sweat.
I mostly focus on Instagram and Twitter just because that's what I like to use,
Yeah.
but you can pick where you're, I mean, I don't think both people will be on Twitter, you know,
Yeah.
like, probably Facebook is more appropriate, yeah.
Facebook, Tumblr, that's your audience.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to wrap this up because I don't want to be jerks to the next panelists. And does anyone have one final question? Because I've got time for one.
It's the final question.
Yes.
Oh, ask you to Kit.
Any type of way where I can like contact you guys just to
Right.
Oh yeah, we should probably promote ourselves. So you can find, if you go onto Amazon, you can find my book is called Black Tie by Kieran Strange. And Kit's book is called Phoenix Cry, all one word, by K.T. Strange.
So if you want to take me up on the offer to format your book for free, I'll do one for you for free.
One for free. Everybody gets one, Spider-Man.
I'm very busy. And I can't do everybody's like series of 10 million epics. My email address is kit, K-I-T, at ktstrange.com.
Kit@ktstrange.com. That's awesome. I do also, I forgot to say, I do have copies of my book if anyone has $15 in their pocket and wants, well,
And they don't want to eat.
and they don't want to eat.
You can eat this. Nom nom nom.
Actually, because you guys are writers, I'll do it for 10 if you want. So.
It's kit at, like at the @ sign, ktstrange.com. Cool. We really appreciate you joining us today. I hope this was useful to you. And yeah, go forth and write a lot of stuff.